All right, well, welcome everybody. If I don't know if Gareth wants to start off with introductions, but we can certainly do that if that's something you want to do.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Well, my name is Aurelie. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I am the current Thrive Student Coordinator here at the AAC. And if we could just maybe popcorn. I'll start with them.
I can go next. Hello, my name is Matesi, and I am a sophomore with a major in graphic design.
Are we popcorning or are we just gonna go?
Just go ahead.
Okay. Hi everyone. I'm Nikki. I'm a junior, like this close to being a senior. So I'm so excited. I don't know. I'm excited to be here because I want to get some more financial peace.
Hi, I am Anaí Ruiz, and I am currently a sophomore. I am a sociology major, and I'm also here for the financial piece part.
I'm Chris. I'm not really sure why it's saying Seymour, but I'm Chris. I'm a sophomore, and I'm an environmental horticulturalist major with a landscape concentration in landscape design and contracting. And I don't know anything about this topic, so just out of curiosity for sure, for future reference, I guess. So.
Hey guys, I'm Carla. I'm a sophomore business admin major with a concentration in human resources. And I'm also here to learn a little bit more about financial stuff.
Hey everyone, my name is Mariana. I'm a junior and I'm majoring in human development and family studies. I've never really heard anything about financial peace, so pretty much just joined out of curiosity, but I'm excited to learn what you have to say. Thank you.
I can go next. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us here in this last clip of the semester. My name is Caleb Bolaños, the Thrive Coordinator, and I already graduated, but when I was a student, I did major in communication studies, and I minored in history.
All right, well, I think that was everyone for the most part. Yeah, I wanted to talk to you guys about something that I'm really passionate about, which is my finances. I never in a million years thought I would be saying this. So I used to be really, really bad with my money, but it was such a life-changing program for me that I just wanted to share just a small little breakdown of the program. It's going to be really a little bit vague, but there's a lot of resources online, free resources that you can go to learn a little bit more about each baby step. So we'll go ahead and get started. So I wanted to start off by asking what debt means to every single one of you. And Galet, I don't know if you can maybe see the link that I shared earlier, but it will take you to the this Jamboard that I have created for you all. If you want to go ahead and get on that, and maybe just write a sentence or two. There should be 2 pages. But yeah, I'll give you guys about a minute or two to maybe write something down. And if it's not working, you can always use the chat.
I'm going to send the link to that Jamboard here right now for everybody to see. It's in the chat right now.
Okay, great. I see that a lot of you guys maybe feel the same way as I do. I don't like debt. And yeah, as I can see, it's stressful, which is good because this is what this clip is mostly about, just seeing how much better you can be and live without debt. Sorry, I'm going to share my screen again. All right, so we're going to get into the 7 baby steps. We're running a little bit behind on time, so we won't be able to do the second question, but the 7 baby steps are, they seem really simple, but they can be very hard. The first one is to start an emergency fund and start on a budget if you haven't already. The next one is the debt snowball, which I will go into more detail. The following one, baby step 3, is 3 to 6 months of a fully funded emergency fund. Number 4 is investing 15% of your household income into retirement. Number 5, I know number 4 through 7, I know a lot of you might not have already, so we will not focus very much on those, but I will still go over them briefly. Number 5 is save for a child's college fund. Number 6 is to pay off your home early, and number 7 is to build wealth and to give. So for baby step number 1, we will be starting with the starter emergency fund and budgeting. For this one, most people who cannot pay for an emergency with their own money out of their own pocket rely on things like credit cards or lended money from like family members or friends to solve their problems. So this is why this, if you're tired of debt, you want to have those $1,000 saved up to help you wean yourself off of that dependency of a credit card. And so for this step, I personally was very heavily dependent on this app called Every Dollar, and it basically allocates every single dollar of your income into separate categories, and it helped me maintain my discipline and see exactly where my money was going and why. And then It also allowed me to have some discipline because I see where I was like over budgeting and under budgeting, or maybe neglecting a little bit. And so it was definitely a little hard in the beginning because I had never created a budget myself. So you do have to give yourself some grace when you're first starting off. So for budgeting, there are many resources that you can use to help guide you through different ways of saving. I know the AAC, the Thrive program, we have about like 2 to 3 videos just on budgeting, but I briefly wanted to touch on it. I use the zero-based budgeting, and it basically means that your income minus your expenses, which includes like your debts, your savings accounts, all that kind of stuff, should equal 0. And so that means that every single dollar of your income needs to be going somewhere and working for you. So this allowed me to take control of like my money and knowing exactly where it was going. And it helped me save up to $1,000 pretty quickly, which was also letting me take care of like my 4 walls, which is like food, utilities, shelter, and transportation. And I just wanted to ask you guys, what are some of the categories that you think might bust your budget?
I think maybe like if you have too many subscriptions to things, like if you start adding in things like Spotify and Netflix and all these things and you don't have the money for it.
Yep, definitely. I definitely agree with that. And I can't see the chat, so I'm sorry if you guys. Oh no, I can.
Oh, I was going to say depression. You know, if you get depressed, that's my kind of thing. Like my spending money makes me feel good. So my bust of spending money would be like if I'm depressed, because then I just want to go and spend money. Like I don't want to even think about this. I'm just going to go spend, 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 spend.
Right, exactly. And with that comes maybe adapting new, healthier habits, not only with your budgets and your financial things, you also have to maybe adapt healthier coping mechanisms with your mental health and that kind of stuff. And this is why it's really hard because your mental health does have a big influence on your finances, for sure.
I'll agree with that, Nikki. I said food in the chat, and oh man, like I can't speak for everybody, but I love eating out. I love ordering, and that accumulates a lot with the cost of the meal, with the tip money. It's a lot. So I think that's a significant part of where I spend money.
Yeah, and those are definitely some areas that I need to work on myself too. All right, so for baby step 2, we'll be talking about the debt snowball. This is a really good source to have. I have a slide at the end of this presentation that goes that lists all the resources that I'm talking about in this presentation as well. So yeah, for the baby step number 2, we have to pay off all of your debt using the debt snowball mechanism. And so basically, the reason that it's called the snowball is because you start tackling your debt with the smallest one, regardless of interest rates. I know that there's like the debt avalanche, but psychologically, if you're not very great with your money, this is the way to go because it allows you to, as soon as you pay your $500 credit card versus starting off with a $15,000 car loan, you're going to get more of a sense of confidence and achievement paying off the smallest one. And so it'll help you build up your confidence over time until you get to your very last one, which I know for a lot of people, that's probably going to be like your student loans. So, sorry. But yeah, the way that this works is that you will have to make minimum payments on all of your debts, and then using your budget, any money that you have left over from your budget, you will start applying it to your first debt on top of the minimum payment. And then once you finish paying off that debt, you'll add it to the second debt on top of that minimum payment. And so that's where your payments get bigger and bigger, and that's why it's called the debt snowball. And this step requires a lot of sacrifice. I honestly was feeling very discouraged because I couldn't go out as much with friends, and I lived in Denver where everybody was, partying all the time, going out to eat all the time, and I just had to make that sacrifice of focusing on work and school and getting myself out of debt. And so what are some of the areas that you can cut back on to reach your money goals without, hurting your mental health or your social needs, that kind of stuff?
I also think you don't have to like specifically like deprive yourself from everything. Like, of course, you can still go out, but like you mentioned, like you still got to make some sacrifices. So I feel like as long as you're not going out like constantly, like spending money every weekend, or I don't know, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you can do it like maybe once a week rather instead, because you still get to enjoy your freedom and your life, but then still be financially responsible and stable in the future.
Yeah, definitely.
And I like the idea of when they say debt free, but at the same time, I kind of feel like that's an impossible term. If you're ever debt free, then you're also not building credit. So, that's what I'm saying, that there was like some good, I have credit cards, and I try to 100% stay in the 70-30 range, you know. But however, some debt still does affect you, because if you also have credit cards or you don't have any debt, then it shows the bureau that you're not, then what are you paying on is what I'm getting at.
Right, and that's a lot of controversy around this program. Essentially, the way that it's taught is that a FICO score is like an I love borrowing money score. And you essentially, the higher it goes, the more it tells the person that you like to buy things or borrow things until you can pay it off, and when you don't have enough money to buy it yourself completely. And so debt is seen as something that's negative, because you have that when you go into debt, you think it's $50 a month, I can totally do this, but then life happens, you lose a job, you your car breaks down, you don't have enough money to make rent, and that's where it comes in handy to pay everything up front, and that way you don't owe anybody anything, and it's yours. You don't have to go into bankruptcy because of it, because you made some choices back then. That's the way it's taught. But yeah, if you can look into it a lot more, it's called the Financial Peace University, and they tell you a lot more, and way better than I could tell you. But yeah, hope that makes sense.
Well, I also agree to you on that, because, well, a lot of people don't have the strength to withhold from doing that kind of spending a lot. It takes a lot. I couldn't do it until I got in my 30s. So
Yeah, right. And this is why these baby steps kind of get you out of like that mentality that you need to borrow everything, and help you build up like healthy habits with your finances. So yeah, this is a really great program. All right, so we're gonna move on to the next slide. Baby step 3 is saving 3 to 6 months of a fully funded emergency fund, and this is again to help you rely on like your credit cards for a tire or, a loss of income kind of thing. So when you get to baby step 3, that means that you are completely debt free. And just like losing weight, you want to make sure that you can function without like getting it all back in a splurge. So you'll need an emergency fund to hold you over from a loss of income, loss of a car, or life's unexpected expenses that happen all the time. I think with COVID, we could all see that having an emergency fund is super, super important. But it's okay to celebrate that you're debt free because it's such a big achievement. But make sure to always keep that intensity that you've had during the first 2 steps. And just continue to not borrow money. The way that you complete baby step 3 is, well, I like to call it the snowball 2.0, because now that you have all that freed up money from paying off all your debts, you want to kind of think of it as a debt that you owe to yourself and not to somebody else, so that you don't have to owe anybody else money. And just kind of attack it like you did your first and your last debt. And the way that you do this is you calculate your monthly expenses, which you can just use your monthly budget, and then multiply by 3 or 6, depending on like the level of security that you want. And then you can, well, if you're, if you have irregular income, you want to aim more for like 6 months of fully funded emergency fund. All right, so for baby step 4 through 6, you want to do this simultaneously. And now that you, this is where like you can start looking ahead and stop having to look back so often at your prior mistakes and all that kind of stuff. So for baby step 5, you want to invest 15% of your household income into retirement. And this is the biggest step for those steps 4, 5, and 6. This should be like your biggest priority. You'll need to meet with like a partner or a spouse or your accountability partner, and then have a conversation about what your retirement looks like and what your dream retirement really looks like. And this will kind of help you, like that dream meeting will kind of help you stay motivated and keep the same intensity as the prior steps to invest 15% of your household income, because I know that's quite a bit. And then the key for retirement is to start early, because you need to allow that money the time to collect and to grow and accumulate, so that, and you can see like there's an example here that Jack began investing really early on compared to Blake, and in the end he only invested for 9 years and he still had a higher rate of return than Blake, who started investing at age 30 and continued doing so for 38 years. So for baby step 4, you want to save up for your child or maybe a niece or nephew's college fund. And this is a really big thing for me because I'm in college and I know the struggles of like not feeling financially stable to do what I want to do and to pursue the opportunities that I want to pursue because of not having enough money. And so we all experience the pain of having to pay tuition, and it's not cheap at all. So you want to give your child, or like I mentioned earlier, like a niece or nephew, cousin, that kind of stuff, that peace of mind that I wish I could have had while attending college. And then you can also invest in their education, which is not a bad thing, but this is a very flexible step. You can invest in maybe one of your dreams, or maybe invest into giving to charity. I don't know, something that you would want to really pursue is the motivation behind this baby step. Right, so baby step 6, you want to pay off your home early. This is called the marathon because it's going to be the least important step. And I know a lot of us there yet. We're not even thinking of getting a home. I know I'm not, but this is what will get you to that financial piece of retirement before you hit retirement, sorry. But yeah, it's the least important step, but you will be also investing into this at the same time as 4 and 5, as you can see here, like this picture right here. This couple is investing at the same time into the 3 categories, the 3 steps, but as you can see, they're investing a little bit less on baby step 6. And so baby step 7, you don't really have to do much. You just have to continue building your wealth and giving. But yeah, how are some ways that you think you'll have some fun spending your money knowing that you are debt free and you're continuing to grow your wealth? And how are some ways that you will have fun giving your money?
I think spending money would be like going on vacation and stuff like that. Like now that you can afford it, that would be really fun. And then giving could be like if you have a charity you really like and you can afford to give to them, you can like contribute as well.
Yeah, for sure. I already my dream is to just give and give and give more than I want to like take, I guess, or spend. And I already have like 17 charities I want to give to, but there probably won't even be there by the time I'm retiring.
There was a comment in the chat that says from Mutesi, traveling and give to support social needs around the world. Yeah, I can kind of relate to that too. Like the way I like to spend my money is vacations, traveling, road trips, that sort of stuff. Big things. I would say I'm pretty good with managing my money and saving, but I learned that it's not worth just saving and saving and saving like without spending your money. Like why work so hard if we're just gonna keep it in the bank? And yeah, like it's good that like we have fun with the money we earn, while being responsible and knowing, all these percentages, those are all really great. And so like, it's a good breakdown of like, what's good to spend, what's, worthy investment and saving.
Yeah, exactly. We do have to live and have fun too, because all this work and what's the saying, like all work and no play. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that, like I mentioned earlier, like your mental health and your finances go hand in hand. Like you have to take care of yourself as well.
Well, to kind of feed off of all that, the rule of thumb I have learned in finances is 50, 30, 20. 50% of your income, your yearly income, is for bills, your major stuff, your living, and then 30% is in your pocket, that what you spend on what you will, and then 20% is your savings. I mean, that's most of the average, kind of basic, but the one thing that and it's not necessarily a discouragement, but however, you can save your whole life. And if you necessarily don't do it completely right, you can come up with a lot of money like my grandparents did. But then, you have to think about those increases. So where I may agree with some of the statistics that say, oh, if you save this much, you're going to be okay. Well, that's what they did to my grandmother. And then she saved 35 years with the post office and then struggled in retirement. So I say that you should bump up your savings. Yes, spend your money on yourself, but what happens if you do get to 90 years old? You know, you live that old. You want to make sure that you are going to have the money and you will be comfortable with the money. So if it says 15, save 20. Ain't going to hurt you.
Right, exactly. And I like this plan because the more the better. This is just like kind of standard numbers. So this is definitely something that you can adjust to your own needs.
My hope is to give back more. Even I just recently got another scholarship, and I'm grateful for that scholarship. And because I got that, I was able to invest in my mother's company, she sells candles. So I like to give back, you know, to other people. And, you know, that's why my mom was like, well, you don't have to spend that money. No, I really didn't. But like I told her, I was like, I wasn't expecting to get this amount either. And if it can help my mother to make a little bit of money, then that in all turns makes me feel better. So, you know, I like being able to sometimes have that financial ability to do that.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, so are there any questions? These are the resources I was talking to y'all about. I will also be sending this in an email to all of you, just because I know you can't click on the links on a PowerPoint, but yeah. Any questions?
One last thing, I don't know if you know of any other resources that you can lock your money away. I'm still trying to find more ways other than like just CDs and stuff like that. I don't know if there's any like apps these days where you can like, you know, save your money where it's there, but at the same way, it's like poof. You know what I mean? Like CDs and stuff like that, they kind of do that. My mom is the one that kind of got me into that idea because starting off when I was younger, I would just, if I didn't feel like I was strong enough, then I would just send the money to my mom. So now it's got me thinking that like maybe they might, you know, have stuff. I don't know if you know of anything, but maybe it's something to kind of like look into if there's resources like that to help people, to guide people to save money is what I mean.
I'm not sure. The closest thing I can think of is like a CD. I am currently about to be in, well, I'm currently on baby step 4, so I haven't gotten to like the whole investing kind of thing. I'm barely starting on that, so I don't have a lot of knowledge on that. But yeah, I mean, I always go to my bank for those kinds of questions. There's also this program. His name is Steve Ramsey, the guy that does this program. I kind of hate him, but he really does give good financial advice. He's kind of just, I don't know, he'll get under your skin, but it's good because he pushes you. But he has like a really big program, and he has like these financial advisors that you can talk to, and the first like meeting is free, and they'll just like get the basics of what you want to learn, and that's something that you can definitely bring up to them, and they can guide you a little bit more on that. Are there?
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Are there any other questions?
I have a quick question, or as you guess, maybe for you, really, or for anybody really. Does anybody know of any good money management or tracker apps or websites, anything like that, where again that'll help with a lot of this discussion?
Well, for me, that was the Every Dollar app, and I'll go back to it. It's gonna take a while. But oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. Nope. So this one, the Every Dollar app, just basically you can input like your budget, and then you can also link your account, like your credit, your checkings account and your savings, and it'll basically like track all of your like your money and what you can and can't spend, that kind of stuff, and it keeps you on track of like your money goals, if that's what you're asking. Or I don't know if you're asking about like investing, but I don't have much experience with that.
Cool. Yeah, and Chris mentioned in the chat that Google Pay Pay Track helps with that as well.
I'm gonna have to look into that one. I've never heard of it.
I used to use one called Mint. I don't know if anybody's heard of that one. MINT. That's another one. It's a free app where it's kind of like money management.
Is that what that is? I see the commercial all the time for it, and they don't tell you what in the commercial. They don't really tell you. It's just that actor that's like, he's the new owner of Mint now, but it's in my head, that Mint, because of the commercial. But I'm like, what is Mint? They don't ever say what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? All right, well, this was just a very brief intro to this program. There's a whole heck of a lot more information on the Dave Ramsey website, which I have put into that the resource list, and I'll be sending out to you all. So yeah, I mean, if you're interested, you can take some knowledge from that. It's really helpful. I started off doing just like kind of dipping my toes into this program, and then I went full into it, and yeah, I mean, it's really helpful. That's all I have to say. It changed my life completely.
I'll agree. I have maybe not this necessarily one, but similar ones, and I mean, if you can get started and then just maintain that. For me, the one that almost seems impossible is the 3 to 6 months emergency fund.
Right.
I don't know how. That's like what, $12,000. How do you? But then again, when I got to at least the first $1,000, you know, for an emergency fund. But that's one question. I'm glad I brought that up. So when you have an emergency fund, right? You got the emergency fund. You have to have the emergency fund on top of the 3 to 6 months.
No,
right?
you mix that together. So you have like $1,000 ready. So you just add to that.
But that's the problem. Then when the emergency happens and you got to use it, then you go back.
Yeah, you definitely have to keep adding to it if you do use it.
I just recently like reached my over $1,000 and I had to use it. I was hoping not to, you know.
Yeah, but that's the nice thing about having that emergency fund. It just makes the emergency seem less like a crisis and more like an inconvenience. So
yeah, I will admit that. So I was like glad I at least had that at the time. So
Exactly.
Thank you so much for everything. I loved it.
Thank you.
So can we go ahead and sign out then if we've already done everything?
Yeah,
Awesome.
don't forget to do